What's up here, everybody? Ted here, buys and wicks with some smart money coming at you. I do apologize for being really late today. I did get, I was trying to make some background music for, the whole thing. I got like a new toy here that I can play with. That's what the whole picture was about. I got that and, a little beat machine maker back here. So I got a little carried away and didn't realize what time it was. And so now I'm doing the video now. So please forgive me for being late. But we got some things to talk about. I'm going to try to get through them as quickly as possible. We got a lot to talk about, actually. Just little things here and there that I want to mention. And I think I'm going to try to do some of it today. And I'm going to try to release some of it tomorrow. But we'll see how much we can get through without trying to bore you, okay? All right. So the things we are mainly going to talk about are primarily behind the scenes mentoring. I do have a Signal group that I have two of my mentees in. So if you want to be a mentee of mine, I'm going to go through. I'm going to show you some of the, the screenshots and the text that I show to my mentees and tell them what to look for and, how to anticipate different things. And, they're asking questions and I'm trying to answer them. So that way, in case you ever want to try to study underneath me, you'll see exactly what you're getting, basically. Another thing is that, really quick, I think we're going to be working with somebody else on some NFT projects, and we're going to show a couple pictures of those really quick. Nothing too big. We're going to go over some crypto IRAs. Just to throw those out there that they are an option in case anybody is stuck with the 401k. They're not happy with the way things are going. As far as the market is concerned, you do have options for crypto IRAs. I'm in two of them, and there's multiple more I can probably ramble off. But as for now, before we get into all that, let's just go ahead and let's start this awesome intro. All right, sorry. I made so many scenes for this that some of them got kind of mixed around. So sorry for that first one that just opened. But basically, what this channel is all about smart money, which means we try to take the approach of being the people that have the wherewithal and know how to push around the market, and we try to put ourselves in their positions. That probably won't happen at the very beginning of this episode today. We're going to go through a couple just different things, but at the very end of the episode, we're definitely going to be hitting that smart money talk. Actually, probably some of the mentorship stuff that I go through is definitely going to be a lot about smart money, and what to look for, what to predict, things like that. I don't think I included everything that I want to include, but I included enough. So if anything, let's just go ahead and jump into the mentoring part of it here. This was one of the very first ones a couple days ago. Even though it says yesterday, it is past midnight tonight, so that would have been 2 days ago. I put in here, I said, hopefully this bullish candle that is, that just hit the bearish order block will only come back to the bullish order block. And I'm pretty sure you've heard me explain bullish and bearish order blocks. The last candle prior to being I wouldn't say engulfed, but the next candle, if it's a down candle and then there's a green candle that closes above it, then the red candle is considered a bullish order block, meaning that when it comes back down to that level, it is expected to at least bounce off of it and make a little bit of a bullish run. Now there could be a bearish order block above it. It could hit that, and then it could bounce down backwards, and then it's just getting down to what time frame that you're looking at, what kind of imbalances you're looking at to see where this chart could possibly go, right? So and that's what I'm talking about here. Let's see here. I say is what I say is it spent enough time in the 1 hour fair value gap that I had found that it looks like it shouldn't spend too much time down there, basically, in getting back to an area to to the bullish order block, and hopefully that pushes it up. That's what I'm saying. But I'm almost looking at the daily and seeing two equal lows, and I'm hoping that it doesn't get lower than that and break that liquidity. That's what it says over here, meaning that there are, and I didn't actually zoom in on it, but I probably could have. But over here up in this corner, there are two equal lows. And whenever there's two equal lows, generally that means that there's a liquidity point. It means that people have a false sense of support, and generally when that happens is that the price action will come down and break that level, primarily because people will have their buy orders set there, and it will trigger those buy orders. Not only will it trigger those buy orders, but people usually have short stop losses in these areas too, because they don't think that with support levels that they see that it's not really supposed to get lower than that, when in fact smart money pushes it way lower just so they can take your money. So those are things to keep in mind. After seeing this, saying what I thought would happen, I went ahead and put a long exactly where I thought I would. 42,575, here it is, BTC. 42,561 was my open price, and it ended up getting to, and I went with a 20x. A little bit much for me. I usually don't go with 20x. 10, 15 is usually about the most I usually get, but I was comfortable with this one. And L Bank, recently discovered, love it, and it allows me to do so. And I kept riding it until I couldn't ride it anymore. And it says over here that I said I noticed the stopping point on the way down. We're down a little. I don't know what I says because I can't see what it says behind today. Down a little, get people to chase it south, and then have another run up. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking wherever it stopped at equal highs. It was going to pull back and then push back up again, right? I said this time I'm hoping for around 44K. If not, it may fall short to around 43.8 before it. I don't know what I said. Pick does another slight fall and run. I'll continue. It'll continue this back and forth from about 5 to 6 p.m. and that is today. And I'm talking about today. I was thinking it was going to, get up to a certain point, fall back a little bit, run up, because the reason I thought today was the day that it would probably do this is because it is Sunday. Sunday is the last day of the week. Sunday is the day where the weekly candle will likely form its if not Sunday, usually Saturday, somewhere around there, it'll form that weekly wick, right? So it'll go higher than what we expect, and then it'll drop down just a little bit. So that's why I was thinking maybe 5 or 6 o'clock. If it keeps running this way, that's probably when it would stop and start falling back down, because it's going to have to create that wick, right? So after I see that stopping point, and what I do is I let go of my trades. I had 2 going. I had one here, as you can see, that I let go of, and it ended up being around 20-something%. And it was a very small bet. It wasn't too huge. It was only a $5 scalp, something like that, but still $5 here and there. That's all you need. Every once in a while, just to keep piling on, and eventually, you'll keep getting more and more. My goal is usually somewhere around $15-20 a day. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. It's just the luck of the draw. But I usually try to set a goal to try to at least make about $15-20 a day in futures alone. Primarily trading Tether with other perpetual contracts. Now over here I say, I'm glad I pulled, my trades from where it was, because that it all of a sudden dropped. I mean, it's just that 4-hour candle just dropped immensely, and it dropped to a point to where I thought it would. I actually put this on Tradingview, and we can bring that up later, to where I thought it would actually come back into a specific area, and then run up and break liquidity in a different area. But the funny thing is that Bitstamp and the rest of the crypto market does not agree. Only Bitstamp. Bitstamp was like way out of control. It was really, really weird for me. But the rest of the crypto market seemed to be kind of in place. I don't know what happened with Bitstamp, but it just looked like it went absolutely insane. So I'm saying here now, I made this call on Tradingview. The entry price should be around 42,390. It's jumped below recent liquidity. I'm calling 41,500. That's what I said. I said that's going to be my entry. It's going to hit that daily imbalance, right? So there was a daily imbalance that I did not think it would get to. I did not think it would get to this daily imbalance, because it is a lot lower. It's also in right in the middle of a bullish order block. But however, it didn't make it to that point. And I put my placed my bet. I placed my trade around that area, and sure enough, it started moving up from there. And so if we go to the next slide here, as you can see, I put here, I scalped a quick, $5.40 in just a few minutes. This is when Bitcoin all of a sudden just shot up today. I got lucky. I wouldn't say I got lucky. I kind of felt like it was coming, because there was a lot of equal highs, and whenever there's equal highs, it means there's liquidity just above that, and it's not going to stop at those equal highs and then drop again, as it had done 3 or 4 times before, because that's what people are expecting it to do. So smart money, well, what do? They push it the opposite way for people that are going short. That way it takes them out and takes their money and puts it into the large speculators' pockets, or the commercial speculators' pockets, and takes it from the little guy who has been taught by the bankers on how to trade like this. Kind of ironic, huh? So as you can see, it wasn't a huge trade volume. It was only 0.011, but it was at 20x, and I didn't make $5 out of it. That's basically all I'm saying here. Nothing too crazy. But still, it was a significant amount. On KuCoin, I think my trade volume was 0.006. I ended up making a little bit less than that. So, I was still having multiple trades. Plus, on here, which is L Bank, I actually had a ETF trade going as well, with Bitcoin 5L. And once it got to that one point to where I thought it was high, I sold all of it. And I waited for it to come back down. I actually don't think I've bought back into it just yet, but I'll have to check on that. And so here is the Mentor Part 3. All right, so I'm telling everybody, this is the same thing, yeah. Well, basically what I said, I scalped Kick 550, being about 23% at 20x before I closed it. Made it come to equal highs before I noticed the stopping point. It'll slow down a little bit to get people to chase it south. So I'm saying that's what I thought it would do. I thought, and you look over here, and you can see that's exactly what happened. It'll get people to chase it south and then have another run up. This time I'm hoping for around 44K. If it does not make it, it may fall short to about 43.8 before it does, before it I don't know why I put pick does another slight fall and run. I'll continue this back and forth until fiber. Yeah, you already heard me say this. I don't know why I said it again. But I think I wanted to put this side by side with the actual chart to show you what happened. Right, so there was equal highs, even though you can't see it here. There was equal highs. And because there was equal highs, it did push it south. And here was my entrance. This was my entrance that I had. Well, it already entered it once. So then it comes back up. Boom, comes back down, enters it again. And then down here in this little red rectangle area, that is the 1 hour. I think that's a daily fair value gap that I did not think it would get to, right? But I think it did today. So this was earlier in the day. And as it's moving up, you can see it does have a fair value gap just above it. So it's going to have a little bit of a rough time trying to get back up into that fair value gap, probably bounce back down and then bounce back up. And eventually, as you can see up here, we do have equal highs above here. So if equal highs are above this, that means that there is liquidity. What does price seek? Price seeks imbalance. Price seeks liquidity, right? And it also depends on the time of day. Crypto is a little bit different with the time of the day because it's a little bit off as compared to the futures markets or the forex markets or things like that. Things are a little bit more predictable because we know when the markets are open, we know when the banks are open, things like that. Crypto is 24/7, so it's a little bit harder to grasp, but we think we have a good idea, and most of it is, banking hours, as far as United States is concerned, 8:30, sometimes you'll see it all of a sudden take off. And the reason sometimes you'll see it all of a sudden take off is because you'll get some crazy news, like, Tesla putting, ton of their, money reserves in Bitcoin. That was one of the reasons why it just all of a sudden took off. And, other things like that. So you never know why or when it's going to just all of a sudden take off or drop, for that matter. But you do have to be prepared for those things. And how you be prepared for those things is you have to look very carefully at the chart, look at all of the imbalances that are in play, and to see which one it is most likely to attack next. And if there is a liquidity point, like it could also attack, which one's going to come first? That's a good question. That's one thing you have to learn and train and develop to understand, right? That's why I thought it would drop first, because there was still more imbalances below before it would actually go up and try to take out these equal highs. That was my personal reasoning behind all of this. The one thing I didn't put up here was actually my friend Marty, the person I'm helping out with, their mentoring, and he kept asking me about, he didn't really understand fair value gaps, or he didn't understand imbalances and things like that. And even though I had explained it to him so many times, he still kept coming back to me and being like, man, I'm just not getting these imbalances thing. And I was trying to put it in layman's terms to him so much, and I was able to do it just the other day. And he came back and he said, I finally get it. He said, after all of these years, he said that you've been trying to put this in my head. He said it completely makes sense now. And he said, I don't know how I haven't seen this before. So that was a game changer for him. And now he is looking at these things and he is making his own decisions based on these things. And I'm happy for him. I'm ecstatic for him that he's able to see these imbalances and understand that there's an algorithm at play, right? And he knows that there's an algorithm at play now. He's not one of these people that just caught it following blindly and DCAing and all these different coins and buying all these different altcoins and hoping they make him rich and all these kind of things. He's actually using technical analysis to break down what is on the charts and make informed decisions on how to trade correctly. So that to me was awesome to me, that I was able to break through to somebody and get them to actually start making money in a good way. And he's, even though he may have a lot more crypto money than me because he started way more than me, he is still getting used to the futures and still getting used to that kind of thing. I'm used to that because I'm used to Forex, so that kind of thing comes secondhand to me. So it doesn't bother me to throw out like a huge 20x, 20 times leverage. Doesn't bother me at all. For somebody like him, he's very careful about it. He's more like a 5 to 6, 7x person, if that. And even then, he's very wary about how much he spends because he doesn't want to lose too much. And even though his portfolio is 10 times the size of mine, he's still smart about it. That's the thing, is that you don't want to risk any more than 2% of your portfolio per trade. All right, so let's move on to the next one. This is what I was going to talk about was, and even though previously I had been working with somebody on some NFTs, it's not that fell through. I think that person doesn't really understand the whole, they're a little bit older. They're great artists, don't get me wrong, but they just don't understand the crypto side of it. They think it's going to be, they can't wrap their head around it. They don't even want to touch their computer, to be honest. And so, even though I offered to help and I offered to try to get things off the ground, I just don't think it's her thing. So me and another person, a younger person who's a really good artist, we're going to be trying to team up and also do this and hopefully try to get some NFTs off the ground. That being said, here are some rough estimates, some rough drawings that he has done. They're more very abstract, but also landscape-ish kind of thing. So there's 3 different pictures here. One's here back here with the sunset with the mountains. Here is kind of like a tree log, and here is something else. I'm not really 100% sure, but you know, it's kind of cool. And so what we want to do with these is we want to make sure that they get put into, you know, frames, you know, taken care of, and sent off to the people who actually purchase some kind of abstract art like this. We don't want to make it too expensive, you know. And if you want to do a digital one, you know, we're definitely down for doing some digital ones for very cheap. That's not a problem, and until we can finally build a name for ourselves. All right. That being said, next thing I want to go through is if you are a person who, like me, recently went through a job change and had a 401k, or you do have a 401k and you're still feeling very uneasy about the market, you're worried about inflation, and you may think crypto is the way to kind of make that transition. I got good news for you. All right. There are IRAs that do offer either A, crypto only, B, crypto and stocks and ETFs, or C, all of the above. They, you know, crypto, stocks, mutual funds, everything. There's a lot of different companies that are emerging now as retirement alternatives to what you're normally seeing with like your Mass Mutuals or your, you know, Charles Schwab's or things like that. Now we have things like here, this is what I'm part of. This is called Choice IRA. I marked out all the what I own, how much is in there. Even though it's not a huge amount, I still don't like people and, you know, seeing how much money I have. I think it's kind of tacky. But one of the reasons I did want to show this is because you see I have Riot Blockchain in here. That's a stock. You know, Solana, Stellar, Monero, Zcash, that's all crypto. Over here we have ARK, that's an ETF stock. Bitcoin, of course. Can, that's a stock. Dash, Polkadot, Ethereum, crypto, Marathon, Riot, stock, Solana, and Stellar. So those are all crypto as well. So I've got a mixture of a lot. Now, the reason I wanted to kind of throw this in here, and let me see if I even have this slide in here. I don't know if I do. I don't think I do. Oh no, I don't. I forgot to put it in here. Anyways, hold on, let me see. It's not in here. Okay, so one of the reasons that I wanted to show this was because Zcash and Monero, even though they're one of the oldest, they're some of the oldest cryptos, I'm the type of person that likes to go after, kind of the newer stuff because it usually seems to grow quicker, things like that. However, what I found was that every time that there's a dip in Zcash and Monero, I'll just throw in a quick 10, 15 bucks, something like that. And I have found that has actually gained me more percentage in my portfolio than almost everything else combined, other than Ethereum. Ethereum has also been a great help. Another thing that is also about this choice IRA is that you get to play Blinko every 24 hours. Well, it's actually to every 23 hours, and which means basically it drops a Bitcoin thing down to like kind of like a slot machine thing, and you can win anywhere between 50 satoshis to 100 satoshis, and then sometimes they have grand prizes of anywhere of upwards to like 3,000 satoshis, things like that. So I've won anywhere between 1 cent and almost $10. So almost all of my Bitcoin that I've invested in this IRA has been from basically just playing Blinko, and this is the IRA that I actually rolled over my old 401k from my previous job, and my old previous job, it had a lot of horrible mutual funds, and I'm the type of person that I can look at all of these mutual funds and I'm going, no, and I'm calling the people, and I'm like, hey, can I mix and match these things? I don't like them, and now I'm sitting there looking at this and I'm like, okay, the housing market needs to be at least 20% of my portfolio because BlackRock's buying everything. The Euro large cap needs to be in there at least 20%. The US, mid cap needs to be in there at least 10 to 15%. I'm going, and the guy was just like flabbergasted that I knew that I was talking about. So if you're going to be one of those people that's going to have a 401k, do your research on these mutual funds that they stick you in, because mine was only growing at 6%. After I changed mine, it grew at over 8% in 3 months. 8% in 3 months, and it had gone 6% for a whole year. So if you can do your due diligence and check out, make sure you know what you're doing with your 401k. If you don't like it, I say check out some of these other ones. I'm going to name off some other ones really quick. There's Yield Street. Yield Street, however, does have a minimum of $500 that you do have to deposit. There is Eris X, also have to have $500 deposit. There is Alto. I am also a part of. Now this one I didn't mind throwing my money up here because it's not a whole lot. The cool thing about Alto and the one I just showed you, Choice, or what they call Kingdom Trust, is that if you're referred by somebody, you put in $50, they match $50, right? So that's the cool thing about this. So I've only lost $9. I was up, a couple bucks, but recently prices went down a little bit, whatever. And the main reason is because I'm chasing after the newer ones. I'm going after Matic, AXS, AVAX, and I'm going the staples, Ethereum. Whenever I should have been going after Monero and Zcash, right? Those are the things that are the ones that are proven me right almost every time. they're trying to think of some other ones. There's Bitcoin IRA. There's just tons of IRAs out there now that are just full of crypto. So do your research, see which one you like best, and then if you want to get in one, like I said, Alto is all about crypto, right? However, choice is more of a mixture. There's also Delta. Delta is more of a mixture. There's quite a few out there. Just go out there and do your research. If you don't like the 401k you're in, try to figure out what fits you best, right? All right. So after all that, I usually do this in the beginning, but if you have heard and liked what you've heard, what I would love for you to do is you go ahead and do this. And before we close out the first segment, I did want to bring back the Zcash and the Monero just to show you that they were in a total gain. Well, actually, the only one that's showing it Zcash, I actually marked out Monero, but I guarantee you that look at it. It was down here. It's way up here. So there you go. Your old school good old crypto is actually pulling through. And if you're going to be doing something like retirement, things like that, these are the things that I would possibly be doing myself. I am doing myself. So, all right, part 2 will be coming up next, and just always remember to invest in these things just periodically as you can, and just. Well, that was fun. I didn't mean to knock that off, but yeah, keep your pants on.